What up?
What up?
Everybody, this is the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 47.
Shit, man.
What's up, Cam Jansen?
What up? 47. Damn,
Yeah,
dude.
can you believe that?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been going.
Yeah.
Ever since quarantine, we've been busting out 2 a week. Some people say do 1 a week, do 2 a week. I had some people say, I can't keep up. I'm behind. What's your take on this? Should we continue to just pumping them out?
Oh yeah, man. No. But it doesn't matter if you can't keep up. Go back. They're not time sensitive, really.
That's what I told somebody today. This is not like a live television program.
No.
Where if you miss it, you miss it.
I'm not breaking the news down.
No, it's always available.
Yeah.
So I tell our listeners all the time, if you're new to the podcast, if you've just been listening over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks, go back and listen to some that you missed.
Yeah.
The first 10. I'd be curious to get the feedback from people. What has changed in our first couple of podcasts versus our last handful?
I could ask questions
10 to
now?
15.
I know how to ask a question, maybe.
Kind of.
Fuck, was I bad? I'm still bad.
You used to be sweating profusely. You used to be so scared to ask a question. Now you're getting a little bit
I
better.
fucking suck at it, dude. I've never asked people questions unless I'm sitting at the bar and be like, so what do you do? Like that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not cool. So I had to learn. And then you're asking detailed ass questions like, well, let me set this up for you this way. I'm like, fuck. And I ask like, what's your favorite fucking color? And that's it.
Is that what you ask at the bar?
What's your favorite color?
What do you
mine's
do?
blue too. Hi. No, I just know how to have a conversation, but when you're not with the guy, you have to be able to explain your question. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll go too far with it. Sometimes I'll mix in a story while I'm asking a question. You're giving me the hurry the fuck up look, and I'm like, oh God, what was I even talking about? Like shit.
Yeah. Well, I've timed a couple of your questions from early on. They would go like 2.5 minutes.
Oh, fucking dumb.
It'd be like a fucking show.
Well, the guy would be like, I don't even know what the fuck you asked me, idiot. What are we doing? Like, my bad, man. Just make something up.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about your wardrobe right now. You said to me this morning you have no clothes.
Fucking joke.
Today you actually dressed like a normal human being. In fact, I thought this was like the Cam Jansen from like 2006.
My ball sack's hanging out.
Well, you look like a real You look like a real person. You're not wearing these, terrible flip-flops that you had on the other day. They were so ugly. They were so terrible. You had
Stupid
black socks going with them. Maybe they were white socks.
I fucked up.
I don't know what they were.
I fucked up.
Sweatpants, shorts, whatever the hell you wore the other day.
Oh.
Terrible, dude.
I look jacked in those bad boys. No. My clothing sucks right now, okay? I don't buy clothes. Kate buys them for me. I don't cook my own food. Kate cooks for me. You see the riff? I usually don't even drive.
That's not true.
No, I do cook all the damn time.
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to make a point
you don't
and it didn't
eat
work.
your own food. You said.
I don't eat my own food. That's what it is. I'll cook my own food, but I don't eat it. It's fucking embarrassing. What a waste. But no, my clothing, I hate wearing shorts. I don't wear sandals because if I push you over right now, Andy, or we had to get into a foot race somehow, well, you getting food? You never know. You never know. A fucking tornado could come and you're in fucking sandals and I'm going to have to carry your ass out of here and we're both going to die. Fuck that. They look goofy. They're dumb. I could push you over right now and you're vulnerable in them. Don't do it.
I don't wear shoes ever from, say, the month of June.
You look like a hippie.
Until September.
You look like a hippie with sandals.
What's wrong with that?
Never wear sandals ever.
Oh, flip-flops,
I wear boat
man.
shoes.
I live in my flip-flops.
I know you do. I could
So
push you
here's
over
what
right
you do.
now.
So you don't even know. They have personal shoppers for you. You call the girl. You say, "What up?"
Oh, well, I'll explain it to you.
Hey, this is Cam. What up? Hook me up with some clothes, shorts, shirts, whatever you need. And then you just go there, dude. They have to lay it out for you.
Do you not think I know that? Do you not think I know that?
Do you not think I know?
No. I know that. I go in there. Yeah, the girls flock to me. Of course they do. But then they go and they start measuring, and I have to take my shoes off. And then what happens? My feet fucking stink, and I can't help it. I put baby powder in there, and now I'm walking around with baby powder on my feet, and I'm tracking fucking shit everywhere, all over the fucking store. And they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, my feet smell. Although these are brand new shoes, brand new socks. Why do your feet smell? I don't know. Blame my fucking parents. I got a terrible gene. I have a sweaty bullshit gene that stinks, and I hate it. So anytime I go to buy clothes, they smell me, and I get embarrassed.
All right, get yourself a personal shopper, dude.
God
it's not that hard.
damn,
it's not
dude.
that hard. I mean,
Fucking
live like
horrible.
a baller. You played in the National Hockey League, but you'd never know it. Come on now.
What?
Well, come on now. You act like you don't know what to do, how to buy yourself clothes.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I used to when I brought Affliction here in 2005. All I did was wear Affliction. That was cool until
What's
I got
Affliction?
traded. You wouldn't wear it. It's for shit kickers.
Is it?
It worked
what
for
is
a
that?
while.
Where do you get
it's
Affliction?
like MMA guys used to wear back in the day. It was huge in 05. I brought it to St. Louis. Blah, 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 blah. It sucks now. I wear Lulu, but my nutsack hangs out of my pants now. I put these tight pants on. It's fucking terrible. They're so tight.
I've
Kate's
got
like, "Are you wearing that out?" And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Look at your bulge, the tiny bulge, but it still shows." And I'm like, "Fuck this."
Look, I got all Lulu on today.
You need to fill that fucking shirt out,
You think
homie.
so?
Dude, your neck's too small. I'll explain this to you. You need to build your neck up and your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Then if your neck's big, the rest of your body looks more proportionate.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do get a little bit of belly, if your neck looks big, then it kind of measures you out a little better. Do you get my point?
Well, I hired a personal trainer. I've been
How's that going?
working out with her once a day, pretty much.
She loves you, eh?
Jessie. And
Hot ass
with
little
Peloton,
thing.
oh my
Hot
gosh,
ass
she
little
is so
thing.
hot.
Is she dope? Does she look into your eyes at all?
Oh, she talks to me. The other day, no, she does. The other day, she gave us a shout out. My wife and I a shout out because it was like our 100th workout with her, and she gave us.
Do you and your wife get down with it and watch the workout, Peloton girl?
Listen, I had a picture.
Seriously,
This is what to the listeners out there.
that's serious on that.
I'm trying to upgrade my Instagram game. You know, Twitter, it's all about breaking news and news. Like
Yeah.
I've
You're
got
good at
that.
that.
I've got that
You got
covered.
that down.
Okay. Instagram, it's like pictures. It's
That's why my Instagram's a lot cooler than
well,
yours
you're
because my clothes are
trying to
fucking
figure
better.
out. Okay, now I don't make my Instagram private. I've opened it up. Now it's public. Come on in. Follow me at Real Strick Nasty. So I had like pictures of my wife, and I said, you know, and we went out actually like 2 weeks ago. We had dinner. And I took a picture of my wife, and I never posted it. My wife was like, "How come you didn't post that picture?" I said, "I don't know. What am I going to say?" So I said, showed
"Here's
it to
my
Cam,
wife I'm gonna
and
take
Cam
down
said,
tonight."
Cam said, "Dude, here's what you do. You show the picture, you post it. You said, I'm hitting that tonight."
Say that. People will laugh about it. Are you not? Are you not doing it? You're not saying it to some other chick. So what the fuck's she gonna get mad about? Just let people know you got a nice, comfortable, sexual relationship.
Social media is uncomfortable because there's so many different types of people who follow you. Like your wife's parents follow you, the aunts, the uncles.
My wife-
Then it's the friends, your friends from college, whatever. It's like so many
Oh,
your
fuck.
bosses from
Oh,
work.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm your boss, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
Here's the deal. My parents and my wife's parents listen to my radio show every day, and I forget about it. And that's what you have to do. You just got to forget that they're listening. Because if you think about it, then you're going to fucking put yourself in a hole. That
It's
you're not
not
gonna
for
crawl out
them.
of.
It's not for them.
No.
No.
No, it's not. But they still listen every single day. And though it is kind of tough, but I don't know, man. I got to get a new wardrobe. It is what it is. I don't like wearing shorts. I don't like wearing fucking sandals. I don't like getting pushed over. If I need to go sprint for something, I'm going to fucking beat you. If I need to run away from a tornado, see ya.
Were you like when you guys got paid and you're 23, 24 years of years of age, and all of a sudden you get a paycheck that's like $100,000? Maybe not you, but some other guys do.
Yeah.
I'm sure your paychecks were like 30, 40 grand. You know, something like that.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Was everyone just like, oh my God, let's go? And they're just going shopping and just
Oh
spending
my
like
God.
crazy,
Are you
or
kidding?
what?
Oh, fuck, I'm going right to Hugo Boss. And you get 20% off. And there's all these cute chicks in there. And I'm like, do me up, girl. What's up? What do you need me to try on? Cruise around.
How do you control yourself when you're that age making that type of money?
Well, you don't. I didn't. I was spending like a son of a
Were
bitch.
you?
Oh, fucking A, dude.
What do you regret the most? Like if you had to redo it over again, what
Drug
would you
problem.
do?
The painkillers.
Okay.
100,000% painkillers,
Were you
man.
getting those for free though?
Fuck.
You had to buy those?
Fuck yeah.
Is that a bad question?
Of course you get them for free, but eventually they run out, bruh. And you can
Okay.
only keep getting them, getting them when you're going to be okay. Like, and
So where would you buy those? Like on the street somewhere?
Fuck. I make a phone call 30 miles away. I drop it off in my fucking
What would the
mailbox.
painkillers do for you?
Numb you up. At this point, they didn't do anything because I was so addicted to them to where you just want to be normal again. So anytime you get off of painkillers, man, it's so fucking terrible.
How'd you do it? How'd you get off?
I did a cold turkey. I did it multiple times. I did a cold turkey. I remember being so fucked up on painkillers throughout the summer, Andy, and training camp when I was staying here, playing here. Didn't tell anybody. I'm like, okay, I got 2 months ago. I'm going to get off them. Next day. Okay, I got a little longer. Kept pushing it because it's so fucking hard. I did it 3 days before training camp started. I was in a hole. I was white. I was pale. And I sucked it up and no one even knew.
Really?
Nobody even.
What about your girl?
Fucking, oh my God, yeah.
She knew.
Oh, my parents would come over and check on me every day. I haven't slept in 2 weeks.
So
you don't sleep.
So they knew what was going on.
Oh my God, yeah, dude. We don't need to get into it. They knew for a while now, and it was hard. And it finally had to get on Suboxone, and then you're just blah, man. It makes you blah. I'm not a blah.
Would you ever
dude.
open up to like team trainers and stuff like that?
No, didn't tell them anything
Teammates?
until I had to get. When I was dozing off on the plane uncontrollably, like a heroin addict would do, like bang, bang, like Jesus, what's wrong with you? And that was it. But then I'd be happy Cam again, like didn't matter. They didn't
Happy
know.
Cam.
Happy Cam. I'm happy. Look at hi, I'm normal. No, I feel like fuck.
How do you know when you get to the point that you're never going to go back down that road again? Like, how do you know when you
you're
have
in the
control
hospital
over
twice
it?
and you
How do you
almost
know when
die?
you have control over
when
it?
you die, when you have to get on Suboxone and it kind of just
All right, what is Suboxone?
Suboxone is an it stops the endorphins from hitting. So when you take painkillers, the endorphins like that, what's it called in there? A certain part of the painkillers opens up your endorphins in your head and you get that happy feel. So Suboxone just makes you normal. So I can't drink on it because you'll go right to withdrawal. You can't take ecstasy, coke, anything like that. All that high, it blocks the circuit. So I generate that natural high organically all the time, working out like I'm a happy guy. So I ate all these things for so long. It kind of made me blah. And to build that back up, man, I couldn't do it because Suboxone just made me blah, blah, blah. That's just like level-headed. And so I'm trying to fight guys, man, at the end of my career, not being myself. You're not hanging with the guys as much. They're confused on what's going on with you, but they do know. It was tough, man. It was really, really tough. It fucking was.
Well, you're good now, though.
I don't even think about them.
That's good, man.
I don't.
Does it bother you? If
I got enough shit.
If I talk about it right now, does it bother
Absolutely
you to talk
not.
about it?
I don't even. That part of my brain doesn't even click anymore to where I even.
Because we've had so many guests on that being like, "Hey, you guys are like traumatizing me with asking some of these questions. I don't want to traumatize you."
Oh no, dude! Are you kidding me? I don't. I'm an open.
Well,
book,
some of our
dude.
guests have been through some serious,
yeah.
real stuff, like you have.
Yeah,
but
serious shit.
but
I'm just
everyone's
open book,
everyone's
man.
situation is different, and you want to talk about it. Guys come on here knowing they're going to talk about it, but
man, if
it opens up some of those wounds sometimes for people.
I'll tell you this. I have a 9th grade education. I chirp myself for that all the time, and I played hockey and I did my thing, and I fucking made it fine. But right now, I got my goddamn master's degree in fucking painkiller abuse.
Oh.
If any fucking body out there wants to DM me, talk to me, I'll give you my phone number. I swear to God.
You'll help
if you
them
want to
out.
fucking talk to me about it, I'll tell you everything I did. I'll tell you how I got off them. I'll tell you my fuck-ups. I'll tell you how I got back on them or not. I will tell you everything. I got my fucking my doctorate in this shit. Anybody needs help.
Painkillers, man.
Oh my, they're the
That's
devil.
bad shit.
They're the fucking devil.
All right, well, I'm glad you're off the painkillers.
Yeah, man. Sorry to get
All right,
so much.
John Tortorella.
Yeah, dude.
He came out several years ago, I think when he was coaching USA. That didn't go over very well at the World Cup. Oh, my God. Plus, he's just getting absolutely crushed by Brett Hull and Chris Chelios in between periods. Remember they were the analyst?
Oh, my God, that's right.
And it's like Holly and Cheli, they were probably like at the bar all day long or all
day.
night. And all of a sudden, they just go straight to the studio. They don't even break down what's going on during the game. They're just killing Tortorella.
They're bagging him, dude. They're bagging him.
Yeah, I felt bad for Torts at the time,
He's
kind of.
I heard he's a good buddy.
I hear
he's
he
a good
is
guy.
too, and actually, I know he is. Talking to him a little bit. Actually, we tried to get him on the podcast, and I've exchanged some text messages. He couldn't have been nicer, and we will get him on.
He got back to you, though?
Oh, he did, right away, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
He's great, man.
Shit, some guys don't even get back to you. Like, fuck you.
Call me Strix.
I don't believe that.
Strix.
No, he didn't know who you were.
I'll show it to you.
He's like, you're with Cam and
No,
Strick.
no,
You
he didn't
must
know.
be
He
Strick.
didn't know
You must
who
be
you
the
were.
skinny guy on that caricature.
Okay, so anyway, now he says, well, he said back then that if anybody sat during the national anthem, they would sit for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Now he's changed his tune.
That's fine.
Now he says he's listening, and he's heard from various types of people, and he's changed his way of thinking. I think that's progress.
I think that's
I
fine.
think that's kind of what we're looking for right now,
Yes.
right? Not that everybody has to think and feel the same way. Everyone doesn't have to agree with John Tortorella, but the fact that he's changed his stance after listening and talking to people, I think there's something to be said for that. I would never have thought we'd ever hear that coming out of the mouth of a guy like John Tortorella, ever.
Yeah, and that's good progress. I don't. He's not a hypocrite, or he's just like, no, I get it now.
I changed.
And that's fine.
I changed
Who
my
gives
beliefs.
a shit? Fuck, somebody asked me the other day. I would never kneel. Like I just didn't go through it. I wouldn't think that way. But if somebody asked me, what if George Laraque, if you're on a team with him, or even Ryan O'Reilly or whoever, I don't care if he's pale white, because Ryan O'Reilly's like the whitest guy ever, but he does a lot for the inner city. So
He's Irish.
If he wants to fucking talk, but if Big George goes, Cam, I feel like I really need this, and
I need your support.
You're
man.
a Eureka kid. We're a complete opposite of each other. You're from, the hillbilly part of middle Missouri, and you shouldn't understand this, but can you kneel with? I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'll kneel with you. Now, would I do it on my own? No. But if Georgie or somebody on my team wanted me to kneel with them, I fucking would. I don't care.
What if the coach told all of you that if you kneel, you're not going to play?
Well, then he wouldn't have a game.
You'd be like, you have no players.
Like, what are you doing then? Why even take that stance now? Just fucking
I
let us
agree.
kneel.
I agree.
Like the soldiers are like, we did this so you could fucking do that. Who cares?
If I was coaching the team and my players wanted to do that, and we'd have
Go ahead.
we'd have a closed door meeting.
Fine.
Let me hear you out. Why do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Who's all in? Who's out? I almost want to say, hey, let's if one guy's going to do it or 5 guys are going to, let's all do it. You know?
Or but if guys like I really don't want to, I'm like don't do it. I don't want to put you on the spot to do it. So there it is. Now we're having a conversation about it. Now, don't fucking mock the police. Don't wear a badge that has like a pig face with a sheriff uniform. Don't pull that fucking shit.
Yeah.
Because that's fucking bullshit.
How about the show Cops? My favorite TV show as a kid. I used to love watch. Oh, I used to love watching that show all the time. I just found it entertaining, man. Just how they bust all these, crazy, just total.
There's
rednecks,
a lot of them,
man. Just total.
There's a lot of them.
Total. Just whack jobs. And now they canceled the show
I know.
because of all this that's going on. I never really associated watching the show with being pro or anti-police or anything. It's just a TV show.
I know.
I didn't even know if it was real. I mean, I guess
probably
it
isn't.
is.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Is it? I don't know.
Like no reality television is actually real anyway. But I guess that was. Now they're canceling it.
Well, here's the problem, dude. People aren't going to want to be cops anymore, man. It's just a simple fact.
Why would you want to be?
Why would you?
I mean,
maybe in Eureka, where I live, which is kind of easy.
I've got a son.
Got to deal with me.
I've got a son. I know people who have kids who are cops, and I could never imagine the stress they go through.
Oh my God.
Every night, just wondering, hey, are they going to come home safe? Whatever, all the stuff they have to deal with, and
my brother was a
that comes
cop in
with their
Berkeley,
job.
Andy.
Yeah,
in
man.
Berkeley,
Is he a cop?
He was a cop in Berkeley, which
And
you
then
guys
what
don't know where
happened?
Berkeley
Then
is,
what
like
happened?
North County.
Then what
where all you
happened?
Canadian guys don't have this North County effect in St. Louis. Just to let you know, you got some rough parts, but these are the most hardcore fucking parts.
Yeah.
And
I don't think you can
probably
compare.
The world, like one of them.
You probably can't compare Berkeley and some parts of North County in St. Louis or any major U.S. city.
Anybody.
Okay,
Hardcore.
L.A., Detroit, New York,
Hardcore,
wherever
baby.
you want to go, man.
New York's okay right now. No, some parts of Jersey, like Camden, New
man.
Jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, Trenton, hard.
But even parts of like Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, whatever. Okay,
Telling you,
that's the real deal.
that's the real deal shit.
So I don't know, man. So he was a cop, so now he's not a cop.
Oh no, yeah. He was a cop for a while, and then we just had enough of it as a family. Like,
Oh,
okay,
really? He
yep.
said you got to stop doing this.
Swear to God.
It's not. You don't get paid enough.
Pay enough. Oh my God.
And now they want to cancel
And
Paw
he's like,
Patrol.
I gotta go.
What?
I gotta go run and try to chase this guy down. He's like, Cam.
My kid
I
watches.
didn't even know what he did.
My kid watches Paw Patrol
Oh God.
like every day, and
this is fucking ridiculous.
he just had a Paw Patrol birthday. I didn't even know it was about the police. Like I had no idea.
It's not. It's about puppy dog.
I don't even
cartoons.
watch it that close to even know. In fact, I was telling my kid the other day because we're looking for a dog. I was like, "Look, it's a bulldog, like that character from Paw Patrol." He said, "No, he's not a bulldog."
It's like if
So
you consider
I didn't
that a
even
cop
know.
show, it's like I consider Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny a fucking hunting show.
I don't
And
know,
now they're
man.
taking the guns out of that. It's like okay.
So
Okay.
now I got
This
to
is too
cancel
much.
that.
Well, it's
But
too
I don't
much.
think they are canceling. You told me that. That's bad info.
I heard that.
It's not the first time you gave me a false scoop.
Well, do your own shit then.
Well, I
I'm
looked it
supposed to
up.
get fucking scoops from you.
You're wrong.
You're the fucking journalist.
I don't think they're
got a
canceling,
ninth grade
but
education.
people are complaining about it though. They're complaining about Paw Patrol.
I know. It's like ridiculous.
Like, leave the kids alone.
Jesus
okay?
Christ.
Leave the
I know.
kids alone.
Can we? Is there something positive we could talk about with the
Yeah,
cops?
yeah.
Like, is there anything?
Well,
positive,
I guess I've got
please?
something positive to talk about right now.
shit.
Larry Robinson, he may be the nicest guy in the history of the National Hockey League.
Oh my God, is he fucking awesome?
This guy, I was trying to explain to people who we were having on, because some people may not be as familiar with his career, man. I mean, you talk about, we throw the word legend around.
I'm throwing the word pimp around, dude. I'm sorry.
This dude's a pimp.
Pimp. He's a fucking pimp.
But he is he's a true legend.
Dude,
in the history
everything
of the game.
he touches turns to gold. Literally. Everything he touches, everything he's a part of, they fucking win.
Mm-hmm.
I told you when we were talking to him, I go, Larry, and you always think I'm corny when I say this kind of stuff to him. I go, when Larry Robinson and you get the puck out of the zone, not because you killed somebody, you did something or a big fight, but you just made a good play on the wall.
I told somebody from the Blues that you shared that story. I said that's what this guy does.
That's what he does. I made a good play on the wall. No one noticed it. I made a good play on the wall. It wasn't fucking easy. I'm like, doop, 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 boom, out of the zone. I come out. He goes, where the fucking go, Cam? That's how you get out. I'm
because
like,
you know,
oh my God.
with every other coach you had, if you turn that puck over,
I'm fucking done,
you're sitting, dude.
And then my confidence. Then next time I was on the wall, I'm like, watch it, boom, got it out again. Then I'm like, fuck yeah, my groove's on now. My groove's on. Then I got to play more ice. Like, just little things like that.
I'll never forget when he first came to the Blues, and I'm watching this guy literally pick up millionaire 25-year-old hockey bags and carry them to the cart.
10 cups.
Like he's an equipment guy.
10 cups.
And I'm thinking, is this guy serious? Is he the real deal
He's
or
fucking dead
what?
serious, dude.
He is, man. As genuine, I like to use the word genuine.
Yeah, the rapper. 90s rapper.
As genuine as you're going to find in the NHL. I wish everybody who either covers hockey, plays hockey, could have a chance to get to know this guy.
Yep.
Larry Robinson on this edition of the Cam and Strick podcast. Man, you're going to enjoy this. True stories, true legend, and
Pimp it ain't easy,
one
baby.
of the best people that you're ever going to hear from.
Yep.
In the history of the National Hockey League. All right, great people. Let's talk about CarShield. Get your protection, man. Listen, your car goes down. Your engine goes down. Your computer goes down. It could be a muffler. I don't know what it is. I mean, something bad where you can't drive. You can't get to work. Can't get from point A to point B. Better get some protection. And you better have CarShield. Even Cam has CarShield.
I got CarShield. Simple, easy.
It took me, I think, 68 seconds to sign up.
Easy peasy. Good people. You could talk to them. It's cheap. And you're covered, man. Like, what do you, like, God, like, I don't know, why would you not do that? Think about it. Seriously.
All right, 800-857-2481. Call CarShield today, 800-857-2481. Use the promo code CAM, save 10%, carshield.com. Use that promo code CAM to make sure
Think sexy.
you can save with carshield.com.
Like,
How about
Cam?
gadgetbuyback.com? Gadget Lab is the store. If you're a business out there, you want to sell some old equipment, maybe you have some some damaged phones,
Which happens.
tablets.
It happens.
Check this out.
I dropped my phone today again, Andy.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah. Well, you better get it fixed.
Well, it's not broke. But next time I do it, which will probably be in about 30 minutes, I guess. It's every 3 hours I drop it. So once it goes down, I'm fucking sending it right over there. They're going to fix it. But again, just like you brought up the companies. Like the tech goes bad so quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to stay up on it. Sell your shit off. They'll buy it back from you. They will buy it back from you just like that. It's the easiest thing in the world. Make that money back because you need to update your technology, especially if you're a big company.
Yeah, baby. All right. Gadgetbuyback.com, gadgetlabmobile.com. If you want to check out their storefront, they have a store here in St. Louis, in Oakville, several more to come. Several more stores. I mean, they got a lot of stuff in store. But again, get rid of the old stuff, trade it out, get the new stuff. You have cracked phones, get that fixed. You can go to a store, by the way. If you're here in St. Louis, go to the Oakville store. You'll wait for 45 minutes. And then they'll fix it for you. 877-772-8880. 877-772-8880. Support our sponsors. And don't forget to subscribe to what we do here on the Cam and Strick podcast. Also, Bellman.com. Get yourself a new car. BEHLMANN. Bellman.com. Got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram on one side of the road. On the other side, the Cadillac, Buick, GMC. All in Troy, Missouri. Hook up our boy Dan Bellman. This guy's one of the best. Been supporting hockey forever.
Always supporting hockey.
He's an OG, man.
Dude, he is, man. I want that fucking Escalade, dude.
Oh,
You would look.
now you want
might
a copy?
look. Yeah, but I'm cooler than you. Look.
No, now you want to copy me?
Okay, fine. I'll get the pink ass Jeep and still be cooler. You can get the Tom Brady Escalade, which they probably have
It's
there.
pretty
Do
sick.
you see that thing?
Yes, it's sick.
That's pimping. That's old school Harry's pimp. Like, I'd take that bad boy to Harry's, blast some music back in the day, and then, of course, I signed with the Devils, and Harry's went under.
877. Bellman.com.
Bellman, baby.
Just check that out. BEHLMANN. Bellman.com. We thank all our sponsors. All right, Larry Robinson, true legend on the Cam and Strick podcast.
Where you at right now, man? Where you staying at? What have you been doing?
I'm at the house. I'm sitting in my kitchen. I was actually, you know what? The last 2 days it's been raining so freaking hard here. We've gotten probably close to 4.5 inches of rain in 2 days here.
You're in Florida. You're in Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm in Florida. Yeah, I'm actually where Steve Ott came over with his family and stayed at his dad's place, and his dad lives in Punta Gorda, which is just probably about an hour and a half south of here.
So have you guys gotten together? He was texting me the other day, harassing me. By the way, don't tell anybody
As
that.
he usually does, as he should.
But have
No.
you seen him, or you just know that he's
No.
close to you?
No, when he got there, the day he got there, because I had texted all the guys and asking them what they're doing and how everything is and all that kind of stuff. And, he said that he was going over there because his dad had to get back home because of being from Canada. I guess they were going to cancel his insurance and all that with the COVID and everything. So his dad took off. So he said, "What the heck? I might as well go over there because he's got his boat." And then he went back to St. Louis because his son had a operation on his ear, and everything went really, really well. So he said, "What the heck? Nothing's happening here. I'm going to go back to Florida because I guess you guys have been getting terrible weather as well, right?"
Yeah, it's been kind of off and on.
72 and sunny, baby. What are you talking about?
It was terrible for a week there straight, though.
Yeah,
it rained a lot. So what's your setup like there, Larry? Are there a bunch of former players around you? Like, do people know who you are, or are you just kind of mixing in with the crowd there in Florida?
A little bit of both. Jacques Caron, who I worked with for, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years in New Jersey, lives about 10 minutes away from me. So we actually went out for my birthday the other day and had dinner together with him and his wife and my wife and I. And Jacques Lemaire lives about 15, 20 minutes. Steve Shutt lives next door to me. So there's a few guys around here, but I haven't been really out and about that much. The only thing I do is I leave here. I'll go over to my farm because there's always something to do on the farm. And I was riding my horses, but they took off and went up north. So it's now I've got nothing to do except cut grass.
Well, I think Darius Kasparaitis, Ilya Kovalchuk, a lot of guys live down in Florida right now, man, hanging out. We just had a bunch of those guys on the pod. But what do you got to do? Are you a fisherman, Larry? Do you got a boat? You got a center console down there? Are you nervous when you take boats out? Like, what do you got going?
Are you a roper? What are
you doing, man? You golf all day? Like, what do you got going down there, dude?
No, I do have a boat. It's not a center console. It's a twin console, Boston Whaler. So so it's we go out in that, but lately, the last week or so hasn't been great boating weather. The storms come up in the afternoon, so
scary.
Yeah,
isn't that scary though, Larry? Oh, when you see it coming, you're like, all right, I'm done with this shit. I gotta get back. Too many horror stories on the ocean, man.
Well, there are, but where I go out, I'm right at the tip of the Manatee River, so I don't get out right way out deep and go like 20 or 30 miles like Rhino does. Mikey Van Ryan, I mean, he goes out fishing. He goes out to like 25, 26 miles. That ain't for this landlubber.
Scary.
You're not seeing anybody.
Scary.
25.
Right.
What are you getting out there 25, 26 miles in?
Bunch of
well,
shit.
you can get there. You know what they're getting this year? They were catching tuna.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, about 10, 15 miles offshore.
Even when he was a player, he would go dolphin fishing and stuff like that.
Dolphin fishing? Is that legal?
I think so.
For dolphins? You better rephrase that, Andy. Come on.
I think it was. It was dolphin.
No. Andy's right. Dolphin. Everybody thinks dolphin of flipper, but it's dolphin is also known as mahi mahi.
Thank you, Larry.
My apologies. Gee, sorry, Andy.
No.
I always talk about boats. You know what you're talking about, and you knew that.
Well, I just remember when he was a player, like, what are you doing in the summertime? He'd be dolphin fishing, and I'd always think to myself, man, that's got to be nice to dive. But I was thinking like Cam was actually actually plucking big ass flipper out of the water. I didn't know.
Oh no! That's you could lose your boat for that one.
Yeah.
No, they're protected down here.
All right, that makes me feel.
And they're beautiful. I mean, there's spots that I go with my boat, and you kind of slow down because it's an area, and they'll come right up beside the boat, because people feed them and they're not supposed to, but they'll come right up beside the boat. And it's a beautiful, beautiful fish.
So tell me about your wife, though. Is she from Montreal? Like, have you guys been together since you were the big fish in town back in Montreal, or
no?
Yeah, okay.
No, I met my wife when I was last year of junior. I was playing in Brockville.
Wow.
And this is a funny story. So I decided I was going to try out for the Ottawa 67s, which is the local junior A team.
Mm-hmm.
So I get invited to their camp. I go to their camp, and there was a big snowstorm on the way to the first exhibition game. So I got there late, and the guy goes, you know what? Why don't you just sit in the stands? We won't play tonight. So I was sitting there, and I talked to Barry Fraser, who was an all-time scout for Edmonton Oilers, very famous scout for Edmonton Oilers. Anyway, he was working for the Brockville Braves. So he says, well, why don't you come out to our training camp tomorrow? I said, sure, I'll go there. So I went out there, and sure enough, there was only 2 defensemen trying out. And so the coach at that time was Dan Dexter, and Dan says, have you ever played defense? And I said, yeah, I played a little bit in Pee Wee. So I said, we'd like to make you a defenseman. So that's where I got started in defense. And there was only actually there was another, Gary Sproul ended up going back. So it was only 4 of us. So I got a ton of ice time, got to learn my trade back then. And then where I stayed at home and went to high school because I wanted to play football with the high school team. And so then I traveled back and forth. So Dad says, well, if you're going to be traveling, I'm going to drive you, because we were on a farm and Dad had to work. So he says, well, I'll look around. And he said, I think actually the guy that came to pick up the milk, because we were a dairy farm, he says, I think my late grandmother has an old car that's been sitting in the field for about a year. He said, why don't you come over and look at it? So Dad we took a battery, went over, put the battery in, started the car, started right up, give the guy $400, and that was my first car.
Wow.
It was a 1964 Pontiac Parisian. Took me 2.5 hours. I washed this thing inside and out and waxed it and everything else. Drive down to my first practice, a drunk driver came right out through a stop sign and totaled it.
Oh my God.
Would this screw you up at all? Were you okay?
Yeah, no, we were fine. That was I took my wife to the first practice to a game, and here we get hit by a drunk driver, and this guy gets out, starts giving me heck. So, of course, Cam, I politely told him to get his rear end back in the car before I beat the living shit out of him.
Were you big? Were you big back then? No, and were you confident?
No, I was maybe 190 pounds or something like that. 6'4", 190. But
yeah, but you're 6'4".
I was pretty quick.
I was pretty quick. For 6'4", you're quick.
And I was like you. I could throw them.
Oh, I know you can. Oh, trust me, I know that. But did you have that confidence when you were young, and you were big? I guess when you were a young kid, were you dominant? Like, did you have the puck the whole game? You said you started playing the defense, but I mean, like, how'd that progression happen?
I don't know if I wouldn't say I was dominant, but I played a lot. We again, having only a few defensemen, I was probably out there. I probably averaged between 40 and 45 minutes a game. So it really, really helped me. And then the same thing when I played my last year in Kitchener for the Rangers. Yeah. There was Chris Aarons and myself and Ralph Hopiavari and a couple other guys, but I played a ton back then as well. So I was very, very, very fortunate to get to play quite a bit. And then
go ahead, Larry. Sorry. No, you go.
I was just saying, and then of course, I get drafted by Montreal, and I looked at their roster, and they've got like friggin' 9 defensemen on theirs that played for the big club. But they made a trade in order to get Guy Lafleur. They traded a few guys off their defensive core, and so that allowed me to make my way into the roster. But it took a year and a half. But it was a good year and a half. I learned a lot playing with Noel Price down in Halifax with the Voyageurs, and we won the Calder Cup our first year down there as well. So
that helps.
Yeah.
So
well, it did, and it didn't because, as you know, as a hockey player, your checks stop first of April when the playoffs start.
That's right.
So by the time the playoffs finished, it was like probably the mid-May because we had gone all the way. So I had to get a job in the summer to pay my last month's rent when I came back home.
So you first walk into the Montreal dressing room, and they had legends already inside yep. that dressing room. Yep. Who scared the shit out of you, Larry? Who intimidated you the most that you were like, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to look at this guy. I'm just going to kind of focus on what I have to do.
No, nobody really. I mean, I was a scared little farmer boy. I'd never been in the big city that much or did anything else. But what was nice about this club is that the veterans come over and made you feel at home. One of the first guys I met was Guy Lapointe, and he was great. He helped me out because first of all, when I got my tried my shin pads, I looked at the number on the inside. It was number 9, and I knew the Rocket hadn't played in quite a while, and I was about probably, I don't know, a good 5-6 inches taller than him, and then I've got long legs, so the shin pad, when I tried them on, there was a space between the bottom where my skate started at the top and my shin of about 4 or 5 inches. And so Guy went over and told the trainer, said, "Hey, listen, this kid needs something that's going to fit him." So thank God he did that.
The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by CarShield. Nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and right off the bat, you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview. You had so many Hall of Famers around you. I mean, listen, we can go in so many different directions right now in terms of your career, but we got a lot of younger listeners too, Larry. Listen, they're not familiar with everything you guys accomplished back in the 70s with the Montreal Canadiens, one of the baddest dynasties ever. Like, what would you tell younger people? I mean, what should they know about what you guys accomplished and how great you were?
Well, just for them, for an example, in I think it was 1976, we were it was a 72 game schedule, and that year we only lost 8 games all year. So that kind of gives you an example.
That was the NHL, right?
Is that good, Larry?
That's not too bad because most teams lose about 8 games after the first month. So, and the funny thing about it, Andy and Cam, is that I remember every loss. We lost. As a matter of fact, we lost. Oakland Seals were in the league at that time, and we lost to Oakland one night, 2-1. They had champagne in their dressing room, and the whole bit. It was Joe Meloche stood on his head. We outshot him 48-13, and we lost 2-1.
And they had champagne going.
Hell yeah!
That was their Stanley Cup right there. They had beat the Montreal Canadiens, but that's the way it was. I mean, you didn't get a night off. It's good. It's a lot like this year for us in St. Louis when we started to play. I mean, you're the Stanley Cup champions, so every night they want to beat the teams want to beat the Stanley Cup champions, and so we kind of were that way, and kind of when you went to training camp in Montreal, it was not that you would try to make the playoffs as it is kind of now because there's so many teams and the parity in the league's so good. It's if you didn't win the Stanley Cup, it was a bad year. So that was kind of our.
That's fair, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
no
kind
pressure.
Of
so, Larry, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
You're in the 70s. You're in the peak. You guys are the big dogs. Just describe the scene in Montreal. Like, were you guys going to disco afterwards? You guys ever having your friend? Like, you guys can't even walk down the street. Everybody knows who you are. Like was that must have been a blast. You're winning every single game. Everybody's happy. Like, describe that, man.
In Montreal.
In Montreal. Come on. Good
in Montreal, God. It's the nice thing about it was if you went out after, like, most of our team was pretty close, and after most of the practices, we go down to a place called the Carabinier, which was a little tavern at the bottom of the Lexus Neon, right across from the Forum, and we'd sit down, and you very rarely got to buy yourself any food or any beer because it was just being sent. You sooner or later you'd have to just say, okay, that enough is enough because we got to drive home. But it was kind of like that around town. You could pretty well do what you wanted, go where you wanted, and the thing is, and the dark side of that is that you couldn't really do anything because everybody knew who you were. So you had to be. It's kind of like Facebook and everything nowadays. You have to be so careful. You have to be so careful. So
could you imagine that? Could you imagine
it was
that, Larry? Could you imagine you guys back in the day?
iPhones
all over you. Did you have security or anything, or did people mess with you? Were people assholes?
No.
Like, were they fucking? You guys?
No.
Everybody legit.
They're very good. I mean, the thing is that I because I wanted to live in the country. I wanted my kids. It was around that time that I wouldn't say gangs, but the kids started hanging out at the pool rooms and pinball machines and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't want my kids getting into that scenario. So we bought a little farm, 45 minutes west. It would be west of Montreal. So we especially probably about the last 15 years, I wasn't living downtown. I was living outside the city, and had a group of friends out there that we hung around with, and my kids hung around with as well.
Larry, you're right though. Those nasty pinballs. I'm telling you, that's where we're going wrong. Isn't that weird how things change? You're worried about the kids hang out at pinball machines. Hey, I mean, seriously, that's how it was though, right?
Stuff was going down
crazy,
there.
It's just funny how that you say that. That's funny.
It is crazy.
Well, and it's funny too because that's when the marijuana and all that other stuff first started. So and we said, gee, we don't want our kids get involved with that. So we ended up buying the farm and everything else. First year we're there, the principal and 2 teachers get arrested for trafficking drugs. So
my God!
Well, they're probably looking here.
What a great move.
They take advantage of those farms, I guess. Yeah.
Hey, but you guys were so great though.
Yep.
Hall of Famers up and down the lineup. Like, was there ever any drama in the room? Did guys get jealous over one another? Who was getting the most attention, or did you guys all get along?
No.
And who was responsible for creating that culture? Was it Scotty?
Well, Scotty just kept everybody in their place because, I mean, for an example, that year that we lost 8, I mean, we would come home from a road trip 4-0. Absolutely not, I wouldn't say annihilated, but had a fairly easy trip, and he would just get into us and skate the crap out of us, and then we would go and play just awful. And thank God Kenny Dryden was there, and he'd saved our butts, and then we'd score a couple late goals. We'd all come in and he goes, "Okay, boys, day off," and then away because I don't know, because he didn't want to be predictable. He didn't want to be predictable. He wanted to keep everybody on edge. He knew when he needed Rick Chartrand, so he'd leave him alone. He knew when he needed Pierre Bouchard, so he'd leave him alone. The rest of the time, he would be on them all the time to make sure that they were in shape and to keep them on the straight and narrow, because they were both single guys, too, living downtown. So, of course, that in itself, was a reason why he did it. But the other thing is that Scotty knew everybody around town. So everybody would call him and say, "Hey, did you so-and-so? I saw him last night. You better make sure he skates today," and that kind of stuff. But we were, and this is what I tried a little bit to get across to our guys in St. Louis, is the reason that we won is that we played for each other. We were like a family. So if we had a team party and the person that didn't show up, he was the one that felt the worst. Because
well, hell yeah, you should.
Well, we knew everybody else would be there, and it wasn't just the guys; it was the wives and everybody else. Everybody knew everybody, and we just had a really close knit group. So I think that's probably one of the main reasons that we had such great teams, and we had great leaders too. I mean, Serge Savard was a great leader. He wasn't a captain at the first. It was Henry Richard was the first, or my first captain, and after Henry, then it was Yvan Cornway, who was also a great captain, also a good friend of mine, and then Serge after that. So these guys, they not only led by example, when they spoke, guys listened. So
take us back real quick to, I played for a while. You're traveling now with the teams here and there, and when you want to, you get, people just want you around them, Larry. We all know that. I know you're the most humble guy in the world. I want you to not be humble today, to be completely honest with you. I know you don't like talking about yourself, but too bad you're doing it. But you see how the travel is now. You guys back in the 70s and stuff, flying commercial, Larry. You're the biggest big dicks in the whole league, and all of a sudden you're flying commercial next to who? And you came and eat like. Were you ever like? Did you even back then say, "What the fuck are we doing?" There's commercial flights going on. Bands flew commercial. All Leonard Skinner flight commercial. He obviously crashed. But did you ever talk to your owner about that, or was that not even a thought?
No. There wasn't even a thought back then. There wasn't even a thought. Usually what happened is we didn't necessarily sit amongst the people. Usually when we went on, we took like the back one quarter of, so everybody we all kind of sat together. But I mean, you know how we kept ourselves from going crazy is that we had some real pranksters on our team. So and there were a few times because most of the time our center hub or main hub was out of Chicago. So we'd go Montreal, Chicago, and then from Chicago we'd fly somewhere or bus or fly to Boston and then bus other places. But I'll give you an example of the biggest prankster of them all was Guy Lapointe, who also played in St. Louis, and him and I were best of friends and still are. So. Anyway, we get on, and it's after a night of a win and so on and so forth. So we've had a few pops probably the night before, and so we get on, and a few guys are sleeping because they're hungover and everything. So Guy goes over, and Gilles Lupien, who's about 6'8" or 6'9", is sitting in one seat, and in front of him is the late Bunny Larocque. So the two of them have already passed out. So he gets the shaving cream out, puts shaving cream on Bunny Larocque's head, and then shaving cream on Gilles Lupien's head. So anyway, when everybody starts laughing, and the first guy to wake up is Gilles Lupien. And so Gilles Lupien looks around, and Guy Lapointe got his finger up at his lips, going, shh, shh, don't say anything, don't say anything. And he goes, ah, ha, ha, and he looks at it and falls back to sleep. So then Bunny Larocque then gets up, and he does the same thing with Bunny Larocque. So both of them got shaving cream on their heads. And they're both laughing at each other and don't know that they've got it on there as well. So by the time they wake up, it had all sunk into their hair and everything else. And then the whole plane knew, and they were laughing like hell.
Got to entertain yourself. You have to.
That's
how you did it.
What was your per diem?
Back then?
Yeah.
Good question. Maybe $20.
Well. And were you guys staying at at least nice hotels, right? I mean, the nicest hotels?
Yeah, we usually stayed at pretty good hotels. We stayed at Hotel Vancouver. In Chicago, we stayed out at the airport Marriott.
What about when you traveled? When how'd you guys get treated on the road? Like, did people kind of roll out the red carpet?
Yeah, how'd that go down?
For the Montreal Canadiens?
No, they hated us. As a matter of fact, my first Stanley Cup we won in Chicago, and as we're coming off the ice, somebody threw a empty 40 ouncer of rye, and it hit the glass right beside Yvan Cornway and myself. I mean, if it had hit us, either one of us, it would probably killed us. But the glass flew up and cut Yvan for like 10, 12 stitches.
But didn't you have security and nothing?
No.
It's so weird how the time, and that's why Andy and I are just so curious because we just know how the setup is now, and even when you're flying, right? There's always delays. You have to get to city. The schedule's still the same, but you have 15 more stops to go to get to that city. Like, how late were you for games? Have you ever missed games? Like, did you go up 15 minutes beforehand? I gotta get my shit on. Let's go.
No, the only time that ever happened was we were in when I was in my first year minor league with Halifax. We bussed, I think it was 23 hours from Halifax to Springfield in a snowstorm, and we got in at 5:30 and went on the ice at 6:30.
Yeah. I've done that in the minors.
And I think we won 6-2.
Sometimes that works that way, Larry. Isn't that funny how that works? Like, fuck this. Let's go. Let's go.
That's it. You don't have time to think. That's the best way.
Hey, what's your most memorable Stanley Cup? I mean, is it as a player? Is it as a coach? What is it?
Well, certainly the last year was a great highlight for me because, I mean, you're part of history. Never been done before. Gotten close. And even though, I wasn't directly involved. It was still, spending 2 months or 2.5 months in a hotel and seeing the guys every day and getting close to everybody around and having such a great group of coaches that did a fantastic job. To me, that's really a highlight that I'll remember for a long time. But my first win as a coach was also my first Stanley Cup as a coach was pretty good too in Dallas when we played New Jersey played Dallas in the final. And then of course probably my most memorable and the one that I always remember is when we beat the Flyers in 1976.
Sweep, right?
Yep, 4 straight.
He knows about them. He knows about them sweeps, just like Michael
How
Jordan.
about this one? How about
Like
how about
fucking
you
Michael. You're Michael Jordan times 10. Go ahead.
Cameron, you would appreciate this. You know how guys get, you get your routine and everything before a game and all so on and so forth. And so what would you say, like normally, say it's a 7:00 game. What the last guy, when is he usually dressed before he goes on the ice?
Cam and Strick podcast here for our boy Dan Bellman with Bellman.com.
Yeah, baby.
You need some new wheels? Why not get a Cadillac, a Buick, a GMC? Head out to Troy today. And again, don't forget about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street.
No doubt.
Right there in Troy, Missouri. Visit them online. Check out their new selection, the pre-owned selection, the best service you will find anywhere in the country. Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
Now back to the interview.
Well, guys get there 3 hours beforehand. They stick handle and do shit nowadays.
Yeah.
They're ready. Some guys are different, though, Larry. Some guys will get dressed early, get their groove on. Some guys will wait till the last second, put their shit on. But they always have a time. It's not just like, I don't know what I'm doing. What's going on? Oh, let's go. There's always a rhythm to it. Why?
Yep.
It varies.
The last game.
This
is game 4 in Philadelphia. And they've got the Kate Smith thing going the whole bit.
Oh yeah.
And so now the game was at 7:00. We did the warm up and everything. At 6:45, like we don't go on until 5:02. At 6:45, the only person sitting down on the bench was Kenny Dryden. Everybody else in the dressing room was standing, walking around, tapping each other. I still say to this day, nobody could have beat us that night. That we were that ready to play.
Wow.
You just know, don't you, Larry?
Yeah.
When you play with those players,
know.
you just know.
Yep.
You see it in their eyes, man. Like you just do. It's a weird feeling in a locker room.
Yep.
But those guys, you've all done it before. I know. Was it such a difference though? When you win as a player, you're a big part of it. You're playing big minutes, but all of a sudden you get thrown as a coach. How did you adjust as a coach? And you're so sweet to everybody, but how did you have that? I mean, there's got to be a balance there, man. And
there is.
You found it. Like, how'd you do that?
Well, it's probably in the end. That's probably what took its toll on my why I had quit before I really should have quit. It ate me up so much because I know how much guys want to play and want to be out there. But as a coach, sometimes you got to say, you know what? I would never tell that to the person, but basically you're not good enough to make the lineup. So now all of a sudden, here's this guy that played all those years in hockey and finally gets his dream comes true. And now you've got to tell him, I'm sorry, you're not going to make it here. We're going to send you to the minors and that kind of stuff. So everything. I love the coaching part. And I didn't mind, meeting with the media and so on and so forth, but it was all those other things. You've got to be a father, you got to be a brother, you got to be this, you got to be a boss. You got to be hard, you got to be you have to keep everything together. And I was fortunate; I had some really really good assistants that helped me out. But in the end, that's what really takes its toll on you because when I was coaching, especially, we didn't have the video that they got now. So the game is over, and you're sitting up at 2:30 in the morning with this VHS damn thing going forward and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. And
That would have been good for me. That would have been good for me.
That's what Cam still uses today. He still has
Did
a VHS.
Cam get the puck out of his zone? I can't tell. The video sucks.
But it's interesting, Larry, that, I mean, honestly, you don't think about the emotional part that comes with it, the human part, the human element of telling a player, hey, you're no longer going to be on this team. Is there an example that stands out to you that was really hard on you that you remember?
Well, there was the one that I remember the most was with Jason Arnott, and Jason had the captaincy at the time, or her assistant or something like that. And Lou and I were talking and everything. We said, you know what, I think emotionally he wasn't a strong person. Like emotionally, he played. He was a great player and one of the best big centermen that I had on my team at the time, but was very insecure and so on and so forth. So I said, you know what, I just want to let him play. So I had to bring him in to tell him that we were taking the A or C or whatever he had at the time off of his sweater. That ate me up all day because I love Jason like a son. He was just a great kid, and so that one really bothered me. But I also had a good situation where Sean O'Donnell was my first year in LA as a head coach, and so we're getting all our roster together and so on and so forth. And like nowadays, usually the GM brings all the guys in and said, okay, you're this is what we've decided to do, and you have your head scouts and all that. But they come in to see me in LA because the GM or wherever wasn't there at the time. And so I had to sit Sean O'Donnell down. I said, listen, Sean, we got too many defensemen right now. I know you've got a great training camp and so on and so forth, but we're going to have to send you to the minors. And so I made the example of myself because I too, my second year with Montreal, I thought I had made the team. I played well and had a good training camp and a few good fights in training camp and so on and so forth. So I said, maybe I'll make it, but there just wasn't room. So I got sent down, and then, of course, there were some injuries and so on. And I got called up on the 8th of January, and lo and behold, I never went back down. So I made this example to Sean O'Donnell, and he goes, oh, okay, and he appreciated it and everything. So lo and behold, he gets sent down. That night, the same day that I sent him down, that night we lose 2 defensemen, called Sean back up, and same thing. Never went back down, and had himself a great career and became a pretty damn good player.
I want to get back to your coaching in a bit, but you finished your career in LA and you got an opportunity to play with Wayne Gretzky. And I'm curious how you look back on that experience, having a chance to play with him after playing with all the superstars you played with for so long in Montreal. Was there anything that stands out about that experience, and just in terms of how great he was, Larry? Like, explain what that was like for you.
Well, I knew that he was great. I mean, had to play against him for all those years, and I knew I didn't know him as really that much as a person. I knew him a little bit because of the Canada Cups and that kind of stuff that we had played a little bit together. But having been there on a day-to-day basis with him, I don't know how he was able to do what he did. I mean, you talk about you've probably seen the that special on Michael Jordan and his last.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody brings that up, man.
That's the same thing that Wayne went through on a day-to-day basis. I mean, he couldn't go anywhere. He couldn't do anything. His life was not his own. I don't know how he did it, to be honest with you. But he's a great person. It was a great opportunity. If I had to change it over, though, when I went there, I would have stuck to my game. I tried to change my game to suit his game, and it wasn't my game.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, I tried to think too offensively all the time, and my defense suffered from it. And then Ricky Wilson and Vachon, Rogie Vachon. Rogie was the GM, and Rick Wilson was my defense coach at the time. And they brought me in and they sat me down and said, listen, Larry, I see what you're going through. He said, listen, we didn't bring you here to play like Wayne Gretzky. We brought you here to play like the way that you play. So get back to the way that you play.
Yeah.
And oh my God, he saved my career there, and I got to play 3 great years and had a lot of fun there.
Well, the Blues told me that when I got here too. It's like don't
I
play like
knew
Wayne
he was
Gretzky.
going to say that.
I'm sorry.
I knew he was going to say that.
He set it up for me.
I knew he was going to say
fucking
that
set it
or
up.
talk about the alumni games or whatever. I knew he was
sorry.
going there. So
Larry, I'm sorry.
just for that, Cam
Did I
loses.
set that up?
Hey, just for that, Cam loses a question. He doesn't get to ask a question here because I knew he was
Did I
going to bring
set
that up.
Yeah.
I had a good
Did
one.
I
Go
set
ahead.
that up good for you,
You
Cam?
set it right up, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
We need to do radio together.
Hey, I don't want to remind people that you coach Cam. They may blame you, Larry, for how bad he was. You never know.
So
you know.
nice to me. That was a fourth line
Okay,
plug.
Cam, I won't let the bag out of the cat out of the bag here. Tell Andy about our 3-on-3 games.
Oh,
I think he kind of has.
I was a
little bit.
toe dragging son of a bitch. Let me start with that. Adam Moats was doing his shit.
Yep.
Like we had such. Look, you gotta understand, Larry, and you guys did such a good job with Bolts and all of us, and even the extra skaters. We were divided at that point. You guys had to stay after. First, you get there early as shit. You go through all the big club shit, the power play, the penalty kill, all that. Then you got to deal with us. And Bolts and I did a pretty good job, but that is not an easy thing to do. But you made it fun.
No.
We got through it. We went really far in that thing. It was such a great experience, man. I'm going to give you props. Although I was a toe dragging son of a bitch.
It was no, but I mean, you hit it on the head. That's why. I mean, nobody. You can have anybody. You can get somebody out of the stands. They can come down and tell somebody, okay, well, go skate from board to board to board to board to board, and this and that. But try doing that for 2.5 months. The length of the playoffs, and it gets old. It gets really, really old. So we look forward to those 3-on-3 games. It was fun. It was as much fun for you as it was for us. So it got our minds off of thinking about what we had to do that night and take the pressure away of the playoff time and everything else. Because as you know, there's a lot of pressure standing behind that bench because you don't have any way of getting rid of that I don't know, the feeling of wanting to be on the ice. And so now you're playing every shift. Now you're playing for every pass. Now you're playing for every shot. And it's a great getaway for the coaches as well.
So I got to ask you about your experience though in St. Louis because obviously winning the Stanley Cup last year, people forget you were on the bench for a while there after they made the coaching change. How well did you know Craig Berube before you started working with him? And, what are your impressions of this guy? I mean, what makes him so compatible with the current group that he's coaching every single day?
Well, first of all, I mean, when it's a tough thing to come in for somebody that you have a lot of respect for. I mean, Mikey O was a great guy, and Berube was he wasn't just necessarily an assistant coach; he was an associate coach. Mm-hmm. So the two of them, worked together on a lot of things. But like any coach, when you take over, there's certain things that you like, and there's other things that you don't like, and so he changed things up a little bit. I think his greatest asset is that he's not afraid to delegate. He lets Mikey Van Ryan and Steve-O and Davey Alexander, he lets them do their thing. And I think that's the greatest thing. But where I saw him and I saw his strength was after the overtime against the San Jose Sharks.
Right. The hand pass.
The hand pass thing. Yes. I mean, I was frigging livid. Oh. I mean, I could have bit through cement that night, and yet he keeps everything in perspective. He's the calm. I mean, you see him, and he's got, of course, he has a temper like everybody else, but he thinks things out, and that speech that he gave after the game, I might tell you what. Oh. We could have went out and, you saw the way we played the next game. I mean, It was just total dominance. And I think that to me really showed his true colors and what he's made of. And he just has a good rapport. And I think the other thing that makes him a great coach is that, if something's brewing or he hears something's going on, this guy's not happy or that guy's not happy or whatever, he doesn't wait until tomorrow. He gets it done now. You got a problem? Let's talk about it now.
Wow.
And he faces that problem right away, and I think that's what makes him a great coach.
Yeah, I mean, he's brought such a different demeanor. I mean, to the entire organization, he's impacted everybody.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
It seems like on the outside looking in, and I talked to him a little bit about this, but I feel like you've got a good relationship or a close relationship with Colton Parayko, and reading, about you earlier in your career. It sounds like people would say to you, hey, man, you got to start playing a little more physical. You got to start using your size a little bit. And I heard that all the time about Parayko, people asking him to be something that maybe he's not. We all know what his personality is like away from the ice. But then he flipped a switch a little bit in the playoffs.
Yeah,
did you have a conversation with him about that? And what's your take overall about people expecting him to be something that maybe he may never be from a toughness or a meanness standpoint?
Well, I mean, you can't take away his personality. That's just his personality. And but as you said, it was so close to myself. And I remember I used to get teased. They said, I'd make a great hit on somebody and absolutely almost knock the guy out. And they said I'd go over and pick the guy back up and put him back up on his feet. Instead of just skating
you ever do that, Cam?
Hell no. Larry's a good human being, though. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, but take it a little bit farther. I changed later on in my career, but I think that's the only thing that's holding Colton back from being one of the elite. I mean, he is one of the elite defensemen in the league, but the sooner that he gets a little bit of a mean streak in there and then know that people aren't going to take advantage of him, he's just going to shine out there because he's got, boy, his toolbox is full.
Andy Strickland and Cam Jansen here for you for GadgetBuyback.com. Yeah. Gadget Lab, they got a store here locally if you're in St. Louis, 5541 Telegraph Road. Here's the deal. You got an old phone, maybe a cracked tablet. Maybe it's perfect, but it's a little bit older. Turn it in right now. www.gadgetbuyback.com. Upgrade your devices, phones, computers, watches.
Anything.
Doesn't have to be Apple either.
No.
Get those tablets turned in. Again, www.gadgetbuyback.com, 877-772-8880. Now back to the interview.
Yeah.
I've always said this, though, Ken. One game, he's going to absolutely snap.
No, he does.
He is going to snap.
What he does is it works. So, the guy's got the puck the whole damn time, and if he turns the puck over, he takes 2 strides, and he makes up for it without taking a penalty.
Yeah.
Like, he just knows.
But somebody's going to cross him the wrong way or something.
I've seen Larry. There's still video, Larry, of you hitting guys, not just hitting them, breaking the fucking boards in half, to where it's like 3-hour delay.
I can't believe they called a penalty on that, though. I mean,
they called a penalty on that one?
In today's game, no, I thought that the hit that you made, I forgot who it was on, where they had to come out and fix the boards.
Dornhofer.
Didn't you get a penalty on that play?
No.
Hell no.
No, they just called it. They just called the game because in Montreal, there's the cross members that go between the boards. They're 2x4s, so there was such a force when we hit it, it snapped the 2x4, so they had to change the 2x4.
Well, the announcers called
it wrong. That's a confidence
because I
booster.
watched the replay today, and I'm like, and they kept showing the replay, and they said there was a penalty. Maybe they just thought so because they stopped the game,
But it was funny. I talked to Gary Dornhofer because I had never seen the hit until, 15, 20 years later. And then when I saw the hit and I saw the way the boards went, I went,
yeah.
That's a little harder than I thought. But I talked to Gary. We were at a function together or something, and I said, and of course everybody asked about it. He says, you know what? He said, I was throwing blood up for 2 days.
Really? Because he got right back up, didn't he, or no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He got right back up. Yeah. But I guess it's crushed him all his insides. So he was. Can
we laugh about that now? Can we laugh about that a little bit now? Because
yeah.
Like and we talk to different people that we've all been through this encounters. I've had my own teammates knock me out in front of my family and Kate's family and Larry, my wife's parents' first game ever against the Flyers. It was the second game of the season. I get a breakaway. The puck flips over my fucking stick. The next shift, I go to try to kill somebody on the boards. Brad Winchester, my own teammate, comes down, who's 6'4", 250 pounds, and hits me so hard, knocks me out, and I'm choking on my tongue. It was the most horrific thing in the world. They stayed in the hospital with me for 12 hours that night. Oh, their first game ever at home. I'm choking on my tongue. This is the way it goes, man, and we laugh about it now.
Yeah, thank God you can laugh about it now. But.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Larry, how'd you end up in St. Louis? Break that down for us. Did Army just call you? Somebody put you guys in touch? What was your relationship with the Army before you came here?
I didn't really know Army all that well, but when what had happened was I was working in San Jose, and then I worked something out with Doug Wilson where I just stay at home, and then I would go to Worcester, where they had their farm team. But then all of a sudden they changed the Worcester, went back to San Jose. So I said, no, the traveling back and forth, which is the same thing. Well, why I didn't stay behind the bench is it had nothing to do with the game. It's just that I can't take the traveling. The traveling just kicks the crap out of me. So
kills you, man. It sets you back.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, that's how that happened. I think Doug Wilson maybe approached Doug about it, and so I got a call from him, and he asked me if I wanted to come on, and I said, yeah, I'd love to.
Everybody wants you on, Larry. Every time you go anywhere, it's like fucking gold. You're like the hockey Jesus.
Listen, I couldn't believe it, Cam. I couldn't believe it because, when Larry Robinson shows up, you're like, wow, that's Larry Robinson. And, Larry, you're picking up bags and you're carrying players' bags out of the room.
He's old school.
Like it's no big deal. And everyone's like, whoa, is that Larry Robinson carrying equipment bags? How'd you never lose that?
Humble,
baby.
I mean,
and remain humble,
That's the way I was brought up. I was brought up that way. You spend your life on a farm, you learn that you have to get up at 6 o'clock or 5:30 to do your chores, and then you get to go play or you get to go to school and everything else. But there's work to be done before you get to do that. And so my parents and my grandparents, I was really close with my late grandmother, really close, because she helped me a lot in school. She was an ex-teacher and so on and so forth. And so I was very close with her. And then when she passed away, then of course, I struggled a little bit in school because I just didn't have the. I can't even to this day. I just can't grab a book and sit down because my mind is going all over the place. I got to get up and.
Welcome to my world, Larry.
Same here, man.
Yeah.
Cam doesn't know how to read. That's his
motherfucker.
problem.
I read Stephen King the other day. It's 1,300 pages. Sit your ass down, Larry. Can I ask you? Let me say something to you real quick. I know we're gonna let you go here. I just got one more, a two-part question here.
That's fine.
For one, when I'm on the bench again, I just want to pump your tires on this. Anytime I'd come off the ice, and I didn't hit anybody, there wasn't a fight, it wasn't a good shift. I just got the puck out of the zone the right way, and I'd come to the bench, and you'd be like, "Fucking A, Cam, way to go! I saw that. That would pump my tires up so damn much. I just want to thank you for little things like that, man. You never do that. Just little things like that. Now I know why everything you touch is goddamn gold. The one question I had to throw that at you. The last question for me is, for me, Andy gave me the one more. What's the best team you've ever played for, coached, the best assembled fucking team? Now you got to take advantage of. Okay, you're only playing a certain amount of teams back in the day. The best team ever assembled that you were a part of. Go.
1976, Montreal Canadiens, and the other, and I would say also the Canada Cup team, 1976 Canada Cup team, was the very first one.
Yep.
That was a damn good team too.
Wow,
monsters on that bad boy.
You've won the cup 10 times. I mean, you let everyone know, by the way, at the parade last year. You held one finger up.
Yeah, Larry.
People can check out the video.
But I had a finger misfunction.
We love everything.
But I mean, when you get the cup, is it still as enjoyable last summer when you had a cup for the day as it was the first? What are you doing with the cup every time you're getting it? Do you just say, okay, everybody leave. I'm just going to keep it in my house all day long and look for your name all over the cup and find it? I mean, what do you do after you've had it 10 times, Larry?
Well, I mean, it was great. You know what? I get enjoyment not for myself. I get enjoyment out of watching everybody else.
Oh, for sure.
Get to see it for what it. So we were supposed to get it during the summer, and then I couldn't because of other commitments and all that kind of stuff. So we got it later on in the fall, and let's see, I brought it back here to Florida, and we took it to the police department for the morning. I got that idea from Doug, because I thought that was awesome.
Hell yeah.
We went to the police department and all that, and then we went to the fire department after that, and then I just in between we had about an hour before I had to take it to another place, and so we just said, what the heck, I've got a local restaurant that I go to sometimes, so we just walked in with it, and they said, do you mind if I put this here? And the girl goes, that's not the real one, is it? I go, yep, that is.
At least she knew what it was.
I know. I'm surprised she said, "Hey,
At that time,
no animals allowed
listen,
inside here."
Yeah.
No, listen to this one. At that time, there might have been maybe 10 customers or whatever. And by the time we left after we finished lunch, the place was frigging jammed.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet.
dude. It attracts
awesome.
everybody,
It was
Larry.
awesome.
It attracts everybody. It's the coolest.
Oh, it's amazing.
You're intimate with
And
that
you know
damn
what,
trophy,
Larry?
man.
I can only imagine, like, in your eyes, considering the experience you've had with the Stanley Cup, and just watching everyone celebrate for the first time, like what that was, like the enjoyment you probably got out of seeing people be so happy winning the Stanley Cup for the first time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, when we went running down before the end of the game, so I missed everybody, jumping over the boards, going to the net and congratulating Binger and all that kind of stuff. But when I got down onto the ice, I just my wife was there, which I was happy about. We were both standing on the ice, and we just, like, I didn't go over and try to lift the cup up over my head or anything. I didn't need to do that. I just sat there by our bench and just watched everybody, the smile on their face and everything else. It just brought me, so much enjoyment to see what I had seen 10 other times before, but just to see them do it for the first time. So it was awesome. And then the other thing that I saw was, like, how late it was when we got back to the airport in St. Louis, and here there were over 1,000 people, and our guys looked tired, and they were ready. You know what? Everybody got off that bus and walked over to be part of the crowd. I thought that just tells me the type of people that they are.
Fucking love it. The guys are so cool, man. They understood it. They were so raw and real, and everybody loves them. Larry, thank you for coming on, man. You're the fucking man, dude. You were so nice to me on a personal note, dude. I know I'm so nerdy. He's gonna.
We got to get this.
He was so good to me. Screw you.
Sponsored. He does this.
I worked my ass off for him, but
podcast.
he was fucking awesome. Larry, I love you to death. Thanks for coming on, big dog. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Great
you.
talking.
You got it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
You too.
Thanks.
That was Larry Robinson. I mean, think about how many players, Cam, including you, go through their entire career never winning a Stanley Cup, and this guy's won 10. I mean, he won 6 as a player, right?
Yeah.
So
20 years.
So essentially, and we're talking 6 as a player, but still, how many people go years and never win a Stanley Cup?
A lot of big boys, man. A lot of big boys. Marcel Dion, to Keith Tkachuk, to Jeremy Roenick, to almost Ray Bourque, to a lot of guys, man. I mean, a lot of guys, and there's way more that I'm missing. But
you said Ray Bourque? Oh, almost
Ray Bourque. Think about that. He fucking goes over to and then beats the Devils.
And now Big Walt, Tkachuk, he works for the Blues. And I know he didn't win one as a player, but he's on the staff, and so
he get a ring. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So he was involved in everything.
Yeah.
During the playoffs and after. It's not the same.
It's not the same. Well, Larry said
you thought you won a ring. You thought you won the Stanley Cup last year. Let's
I did.
be honest.
I partied like I did.
You did. Cam,
people acted like they thought that I did.
I know,
they congratulated me like
too.
I did.
I would get congratulations.
I'm like, you're welcome.
And I went to the draft last June in Vancouver, and people are like, "Hey, congrats!" Like I didn't win anything.
No, people honestly thought that I had a day with the Cup, and I'm like, motherfucker, the Blues don't even hire me for anything. They don't even want me to do free shit now. I'm
true.
too much for them, man.
That's true.
So we'll just start our own shit, and that's
They
what
love
we're
you.
doing.
They love you.
I know. I can do whatever I want. They treat me like gold. They just haven't hired me for anything. It's probably for the best.
Larry Robinson, though, man, as a head coach, like pregame, intermission, like what was he like?
Oh, just cool as a cucumber. Laugh when he needed.
Always calm.
Always.
Could he ever be a dick?
Fuck, not a dick, but he could be fucking mean. Meaning, Like, he's going to be like, get that damn... Like, if he got pissed at you, you fucked up. He doesn't need to get pissed at you to get his point across. Some coaches do, some coaches don't. Especially an assistant coach like that. If he looks in your eyes and tells you something, you fucking do it, and that's it.
Do you think young players today, especially those that are on the Blues, when he's around, people forget that he was on the bench. When they fired Mike Yeo and when Craig Berube first took over, I mean, Larry Robinson was on the bench for several games. And you just wonder, like, if you're a young player, how much you appreciate that. Oh my
like
God!
Vinny
Well,
Dunn?
you know Parayko does.
Like Vinny Dunn.
You know
and all those
Parayko
guys,
doesn't take that for granted. And I've seen them talk so much where he pulls Parayko aside, and the relationship that they have. I asked him about it during the interview. You just heard it, and because Larry Robinson, people used to criticize him early in his career. Oh, you're big and you play too soft. And then he started beating the shit out of people.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Sometimes you need to build that confidence in yourself, man. You could be a monster, and all of a sudden that one time where you're pissed off enough and you fight somebody and you piss pump them and you're like, oh, I could do this.
And this is like, the Blues in general and their GM, Doug Armstrong, to understand the value of not only bringing a guy like Larry Robinson on board, because he didn't know Larry. They didn't have a relationship, Obviously, you know who he is.
But he didn't know him. Like,
no.
Larry didn't know Doug
But
much,
it's
right?
like, hey, but to bring him on board and then to say, hey, I need you to go on the bench, and to see the impact that he had. And listen, Larry Robinson could have stayed on the bench the entire season. He says in the interview that the travels is too much for him.
Horrible.
It is.
Too much.
It is.
Why would he even... Imagine, we talked about this, like, imagine the travel that he had to go through. It wasn't like roses and fucking cupcakes,
No.
man. You're sitting in the back
But
of a
even
commercial
on the private
plane,
planes,
dude.
man, it's just a lot.
Andy.
It's a lot.
Fucking A it is. But he just traveled his whole life, man. He's done. He coached. He played 22 years commercial flying, then commercial flying coaching, and then all of a sudden you're flying private, but you're like, fuck this. Well, I got money. I got fame. I don't need to do shit.
But you can hear in his voice, though, how much
He loves it.
winning a Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues,
fuck.
how much that meant to him, that it was the first time in franchise history that they won, man. So that was cool.
coolest thing in the
Hope
world.
people appreciate that. I know it's a different interview than some of the other ones we had.
Yeah.
Like, he's not wild. He's not crazy. He doesn't have any traumatic story to talk about.
I know. I wanted we set the tone like,
Yeah.
you're the big boy.
Yeah.
Like, tell me about it after the game. It's just...
But sometimes you just got to appreciate
That's probably why-
a true legend of the game.
Yeah, that's probably why he played 22 years, because he didn't do much.
All the parents
afterwards.
out there, you finally have an interview you can listen to with your kids.
No shit.
Tell them who Larry Robinson is.
Pardon my language. That was pretty good on that one.
It was. Hey, you weren't bad. You weren't bad. All right, that interview is brought to you by CarShield and CarShield.com. Again, get your protection today. Give them a call. Mention the promo code CAM.
Cam.
And you get that 10% discount. 800-857-2481. Call CarShield today. GadgetBuyback.com. If your phone looks like shit,
You're a Hoosier.
it's cracked.
You look like a Hoosier. You're not wheeling any
You
chicks.
said you won't hang out with
I don't
them.
fucking hang out with anybody with a cracked
You don't
phone.
trust 'em.
Get the fuck away from me. Hoosier. Yeah, Hoosier.
GadgetBuyback.com, GadgetLabMobile.com. There's two websites for you. Check that out. 877-772-8880. And our boy David Long for hooking that up.
Awesome. Good toe drag.
Oh,
He skates with the boys. He's better than you.
I'm looking
He's
for-
better than you.
Is he?
He's better than you.
Are you positive?
He's better than you.
He's younger, though, so I don't know.
He might not be able to break the game down or interview people good, but he's got a toe drag, baby.
Okay.
And he's got a decent shot.
We got to
so
see
he
that.
might take your
All
spot.
right, we're looking forward to seeing that from David Long. Gadget Lab. Again, 877-772-8880. Loving having Gadget Lab on board with us here on the Cam and Strick podcast. And, of course, Bellman.com.
Damn right.
BEHLMANN.com. Hook it up with our boy Dan Bellman, the true OG of St. Louis
Oh, my
hockey.
God, dude.
And go get yourself a new ride.
Support our sponsors, man.
Bellman.com. Oh,
That's
yeah,
how it is. Like, if you
absolutely.
want this thing to keep going,
Yes.
like, you got to support the sponsors.
Yes.
That's how it works.
And subscribe.
Subscribe. Do all that kind of stuff, guys. Like, that's just how this stuff goes, man. Everybody does podcasts. Well, this is our living.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not just fucking around on this shit. Like, we're bringing it for you. We're getting all these guys. It's not easy. It's a tough thing. We don't have a backing. We don't have Barstool. We don't have TSN. We don't have anybody. We just do everything ourselves.
ESPN.
Yes, any of this shit. We fucking do it. We did it from ground zero, and we fucking started it. So help us out by supporting the sponsors, man. I hate saying that kind of shit. Like, buy stuff for us. No,
I mean,
this.
just
But fuck, if you want this
support
on,
them, man.
we'll entertain you guys. You know that.
That's right.
I bring the heat.
And, of
Damn.
course, Cope24, our girl Renee. We love you, Renee.
Oh, girl, what's up?
Cope24.com.
Oh, girl,
All
what's
right, that
up?
was Larry Robinson. We've got some unbelievable podcasts coming your way. We're approaching number 50. What do they call 50? Like 25 is like the silver anniversary. What's the 50?
I don't know.
You don't fucking know?
What
Come on.
kind of question
What's
is that?
50?
It's 50.
Well, we got a big celebration
Big
coming
dog.
up for our 50th
Yeah, oh, God.
podcast, man. Already,
Nervous.
we're getting closer and closer to number 50, but we've got some big dogs and some great conversations coming your way. Thanks for all the support.
Yeah, baby.
Keep supporting us on the Cam and Strick podcast.